It is cold this morning. It was 19 degrees last night. It's 23 degrees right now. I stayed at Groundhog Creek shelter last night. The wind gusts were about 20 miles an hour, and it was cold. That was the coldest night I spent on the AT. It was hard to get warm. I had a little problem with my fingers. They actually hurt pretty bad. Pains in the last joint, the one by the nail bed. They burn and they feel like stabbing pains, but you know, what are you gonna do? This is what's left of the snow. I'm getting ready to hike up that mountain. There's something cleansing about the snow and being out in this fresh air. It's exhilarating. The trail is really pretty right now with the sun getting ready to come in through all of those trees. Isn't that beautiful? That is just breathtaking. There's the sun right there. This has been quite an ascent so far. Oh, this is just gorgeous. Oh. Yesterday was a short day. It was a 7.9 mile day. And the reason why is because it was snowing so hard and it was so cold that I needed to get into a sleeping bag. My teeth were chattering and my fingers were really a bit painful. And that's okay. Getting time to recharge my batteries. Is this not? It's like a winter wonderland. Wow. This is phenomenal. This might be my blessing of the day. I like this a lot. Last night, I told you I had to get in my sleeping bag because it was so cold, my teeth were chattering, and it actually took about an hour for me to stop shivering. It was just so cold. And I had on a Kathleen long sleeve with a hood, an R1, my puffy jacket. I mean, I just could not stop shivering. Anyway, I finally got warmed up. And the way I got warmed up is I have a Cedar Summit sleeping bag liner. And you can pull that thing up over your head and then also take your sleeping bag and pull it up over your head. Well, I had done that and it was still daylight. People were still coming into camp, and a couple of people were talking to the person that was on the other side of the shelter from me, who had gotten there before me and was doing the same thing. He was freezing. And I said, I don't mean to be rude, I'm just cold. My name's Nonnie. And the next thing I heard was, Nonnie, we watch your channel. And I started laughing. I said, hold on a minute. So I took off the covers, kind of popped my head out for a second. Hold on. Gotta go down a little steps here. Okay. And this young lady said, if it wasn't for you, I would have never stopped and gone and seen Laurel Creek Falls. I watched your video and it was so enthusiastic. I thought I would go and see it. Well, we talked for a few minutes and she was so cute. I got covered back up. About 5 minutes later, same thing happened. Somebody walked up and I said, I'm not trying to be rude. Hi, nice to meet you, I'm Nonnie. But I was under all those blankets. And this gentleman said, Nonnie, I watch your channel. I went to Laurel Creek Falls because of your channel. I said, hold on just a minute. I started laughing. And it was OG. OG stands for Old Goss. G-O-S-S. His name is Aaron Goss. And he has his own YouTube channel. Okay, so I'm walking along and here comes this blowdown, and look how they have cut it out for you to walk through. And this is OG, that stands for Old Goss. He has his own YouTube channel and its name is
OG Hikes, or it's under my full name, Aaron Goss.
Aaron Goss. Okay, so y'all check him out. So all three of us stood there talking, and that just, you know, I had a great day yesterday. I was cold, but I had a good hiking day, even though the ascent was, woo, that was a lot of ascent yesterday. But it was just kind of neat to hear, I went to Laurel Creek Falls because of you. That was nice. That made me happy to know that something I said on my channel inspired someone to go and see a landmark that was certainly worth going to see. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, let me tell you about OG. I was getting ready to take a photo of a downed tree that had been cut out for people to cross over through the cutout. Thought it was pretty unique. It's the only one I've seen like that since I've been hiking. I heard somebody behind me, and it was OG. We talked for a minute or two, and then he went on. He hikes like puffs of smoke. It's there for a moment, and then it's gone. He was running down the trail, running with his backpack on. He was gone. He was just gone. I was going to film it, but he was so fast I couldn't even do that. Unbelievable. Okay, so we are coming up to, I don't know what we're coming up to. I haven't had my map out. Guess this is some kind of like state road or emergency road. Goes down that way. The trail starts back up that direction. You can see the blazes on the trees. Road that way, and a road that way. Interesting. Okay, that was Brown Gap. Max patch is 3.5 miles from here. Roaring Fork Shelter, 5.5. This is a very steep ascent. It is 28.6 degrees, and as we're ascending and getting higher, the snow is getting heavier, but the temperature is still rising. This is just awesome, awesome, awesome. I love the snow. I know people in the north are going, she wouldn't love the snow if she lived in it all the time, and I probably wouldn't, but I don't live in it all the time, and I love it. And we just keep going higher and higher and higher. Woo! Woo! Whew. This is a fanny smacker this morning. Whew. You can see over there this morning. Just came from down that way. Getting higher. The snow has covered up the trail. You can see where there's been hikers. If you watch for their footprints, You can see where there's been hikers ahead of me if you watch their footprints in the pole marks. I say that because I have a lot of little ones that would be wondering, how do you know where you're going? The rest of you are going, of course we know that. But for those little ones that don't know, I want to explain it to them so they don't worry about Nonnie getting lost on the trail. I'm good. And just like that, the trail changed. Isn't this spectacular? Look. That just takes my breath away. In addition to being out of breath from that ascent. It's a double whammy. Oh my goodness. Wow, that's pretty. So breathtaking. So I wanted to talk to you all about tramlines, and this is mainly for people that don't really know a lot about tramlines. Not that I know a lot, but I'll share what I know. People get together that don't know each other or do know each other, and they kind of start hiking together, and they kind of stay together as a unit. That's called a tramway. Ooh, look at these. Squirrel, sorry. If y'all have watched my videos, you know I say squirrel whenever I lose my train of thought and I have to switch to something real quick. Okay, back to the topic. And people hike together, they have a lot in common, they learn about each other. And sometimes along the way, another person will join or another person will drop out. And so, as was the case in coming to Newfound Gap, you know, there was a tramway there, and I was not part of that tramway, but I kind of was with them for 2 or 3 days and got to know them. Very sweet people. And once we got to Newfound Gap, Renee, Couch to Trail, Bean and Let's Go, and I kind of we scattered. And that's because Bean and Let's Go had to pick up their dog Bayo, short for Beowulf, from being boarded because they had hiked the Smokies, and dogs are not allowed in the Smokies. And so they had to go their way. And I'm not sure if Renee went into Gatlinburg or not. I was picked up from Newfound Gap by Sloth, a 2023 Thru-Hiker that unfortunately had a pretty severe knee injury, and he's actually quite upset he's not able to finish the trail. And so I'm gonna hike for him, and hopefully I'll be able to take him to Katahdin. He is an exceedingly kind man, jovial, happy, as sweet as he can be. So Sloth picked me up at Newfound Gap and drove me to Gatlinburg to spend the night. I spent one night there, and he picked me up the next morning and drove me to Newport. Newport is where my husband and I were going to meet. He was driving from our home to Newport so we could spend a few days together. And Sloth was so kind. He took me to the grocery store, and he was my trail angel. He was just so sweet. So he drove me to Newport the next morning, and the reason I went to Newport instead of staying in Gatlinburg is because it is way less expensive. Gatlinburg is, that'll take your breath away, trying to find out how much room is in Gatlinburg. Anyway, He took me to Newport. My husband met me there, and we stayed there for 3 days to visit since we hadn't seen each other for almost 6 weeks. It was a really nice visit. I was so happy to see him. He's my love. My husband and I had some conversations about being taken back to Newfound Gap or Davenport Gap and restarting my hike, and I just decided, based on some factors, that I was going to go on ahead and restart my hike near Standing Bear Hostel. Not at Standing Bear Hostel, but near Standing Bear Hostel. And that way, my husband and I could, at the end, after I summit Katahdin, and I come back, we can go to Newfound Gap, which is our stomping ground, actually, and we can hike from Newfound Gap to that point near Standing Bear Farm that I did not cover, and we began the trail together, and we can end the trail together, which is meaningful to both of us. There were a couple of other reasons why I wanted to skip a portion of the trail, but those aren't important, and the main reason is because I wanted to be with my husband. So I started at near Standing Bear Trail yesterday and hiked to I think it was Hogpen Creek Gap, but I'm not sure. Anyway, it's beautiful this morning. I am enjoying this so much, and I hope you're enjoying seeing the snow. For you that live in Maine and those states that get a lot of snow, you're probably not too crazy about it, but when you live in the South, we just don't get a lot of snow. So this is a big treat for me. Another thing tramlies do is, a lot of people think that everybody gets up in the morning, all gets ready and leaves at the same time. They don't do that. They get up as they get ready, they just leave when they're ready to leave. And the tramlies know that the destination at the end of the day is a certain point. Some get there an hour or two before the rest of them, and they just kind of trail in after that. But they stick together that way, and they usually have dinner. A lot of them have dinner together and set up their tents next to each other. So, tramlies seem to be a pretty cool thing, and I think hiking solo is good too, and it just depends on what you're looking for. And for me, this is a journey of healing, and I love talking to all the people that I meet. But for the most part, during the day in hiking, just like those tramlies do, a lot of those people hike by themselves. I see them at camp whenever I get in and can talk to them then, and that's a nice thing. So, there you go. I'm going to stop for a minute and try and answer a couple of questions that some of you asked me. One is about dropping the rope. Dropping the rope is a big deal to me. In fact, it's such a big deal that it changed my life profoundly and deeply. I think it's on my shakedown hike to returning from Molly's Ridge. That's either video 20 or 21, where I actually talk about dropping the rope. So if you want to go back and watch that video, that might explain it as well. However, I'll give you a synopsis here. I've been through a lot of things in a very short period of time, and they were devastating catastrophes by anybody's measure, not just mine. And I was having a hard time weathering that storm, those storms. There were many of them in a 3-year period, life-altering storms. And I had a friend that's 10 years older than me, very wise. She's a colonel in the Air Force, way ahead of her time. I respected her a lot. She had a lot of wisdom to share, and we had very similar backgrounds and had experienced many similar things. So one day I was talking to her about how I felt about something. I was having a very low day, and she went, And I kind of noticed She let me keep talking, and I talked, and she said, and then what? And it caught my attention, but I didn't stop, and I talked some more, and she goes, and then what? And I said, well, why are you saying and then what like that? And she said, I'm just curious, and then what? And so I talked some more, and she said, and then what, a couple more times. I kept talking, and finally she said, and then what? And I said, well, I don't have anything else to say, but frankly, just between you and I, viewers, that was annoying me a little bit. And so I said, well, why do you keep asking me that? And she said, because I wanted to see how far you could go. And I said, I can't think of anything else. And she said, okay, now I'm going to tell you what you need to do. And I said, okay. And she said, you need to drop the rope. And I went, drop the rope? What does that mean? And I thought that was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard. But again, I really admired this woman. She said, you need to drop the rope. You need to let it go. You are tugging and fighting and pulling and stretching and fretting, and you have anxiety. You cry. You're very upset about this. You have every right to be this upset about what's going on, because what you're going through is just terrible. But if you don't let it go, it's going to destroy you. I have to tell you, that didn't sit well with me at that moment, but I didn't show it because I did respect her so much. And I gave thought to what she said, and she was right. It's the best, wisest, most profound, meaningful piece of advice I've ever received in my life. Sometimes you just have to let things go because you cannot change them. As much as you want to, as much as you feel like you've been betrayed, hurt, somebody's done something to you that they should not have, you've experienced something that you should have never had to experience. You can't change it. So you have to let it go. You've got to drop the rope. And I have dropped many, many ropes and found freedom in what was going on with me at the time. And that's all because of this friend that loved me enough to share that advice with me. So if you have things that are keeping you up at night, frustrating you, you're angry about, things that you really just don't have any control over, you just need to drop the rope and you need to find a way to move on. Baby steps. It's just one step after another, just like hiking this trail. I can't get to where I'm going if I don't take one tiny step. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one small step. That's what I mean when I say drop the rope. I hope it will be good advice for you. It was good advice for me, and I'm eternally grateful for the woman that shared that information with me. So the point is when you're going through something as well, and you just keep thinking, what if, well, how come, what about, when you get through all the then whats, and there is nothing left, and there is no answer, and you have done the very best you can, there is nothing else for you to try or do, and it's becoming an anchor around your neck and you're sinking, that's the last then what. You need to let it go. You need to drop the rope. No more then whats. That's why she kept saying, and then what? And then what? Because she was waiting to hear if I had a solution or something else that might come up that would change the situation. And there was nothing else. So I had to let it go. Maybe you need to let it go. Think about dropping the rope. There is freedom and peace that comes with dropping the rope. Sometimes it's hard to do that. Sometimes it's hard to let go. But it may take a little while for you to absolutely let go, but when you do, peace will come. Sleeping better at night will come, and finding your joy will come. That's what this is. It's a journey of healing for me to find my joy and reestablish my trust in humanity and appreciate more than I've appreciated in the recent past, because I've been so paralyzed with betrayal and hurt and some really horrific things, that they've paralyzed me and kind of rusted the door of my heart. But my heart is opening, and it's because I am dropping those ropes, and the peace and the freedom that I'm experiencing is real. We have arrived at Cherry Creek Trail. It goes up that direction, but we are going this direction. There is the AT Blaze right there. Okay, we've got some signs coming up here, and I thought I heard something, and a truck just passed by. There's a road up here. I forgot to tell you all, when I opened up my juice bottle this morning, I had a slushie. It was not completely frozen, but it was slushy. All right, let's see what this says. Okay, so State Road 1182, Brown Gap 2.7, Groundhog Creek Shelter 5.8. So we have hiked 5.8 miles this morning. Oh, I like the little AT insignia down there. That's pretty cool. And there's another sign coming up here. I don't think we're far from Max Patch. Just a little sign. Okay, and that road that I was talking about is right there and right there. It goes that way, and then it goes down this way. So we have come up to the road that says 2250 on that sign, and here is the AT Blaze. I'm going to assume it crosses over this way. And here we go. Interesting. I think this is the right way. You have to go through this little maze. And what does this little sign say? Okay, so it's the only path I see. I don't see a blaze, so we'll walk down here for a second and see if we find one. If not, I'll check far out and make sure I'm on the trail. Oh, yep, right here. Hidden, but there it is. Look at this. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Oh, gosh, this is pretty. Look at that. This goes up, up, up. Wow. And you hear water. Oh, look at this. Yes, I can hear some of you. She's never seen snow before. Yes, I have. I just love it, though. What does this sign say? Max Patch 0.5. No, what is that? It says Max Patch, but I cannot read what that says. 0 point something on there. Roaring Fork Shelters 2.9. Lemon Gap 6.2. I love that insignia. Okay. Gosh. Breathtaking. I don't eat these, but you know how you have powdered sugar donuts? That's what these look like. Like they've all been powdered with sugar. Happy people. Happy, happy, happy. Lots of blessings today. This is a good one. It's the best. Snow melt, and then comes the mud. Oh, Lord. Oh, boy. These are the stairs going up to Max Patch. Whew. Whoa, baby. This is the first thing I saw when I came up to the top of Max Patch. Isn't that, it looks like a piece of jewelry. That is so beautiful. The sun hitting that. Wowzers. I love that. Beautiful. I'm at the top of Max Patch, and look at that in the background with all that snow. This is breathtaking. Sloth, I hiked up here just for you, buddy. Oh, look! Oh, okay, hold on. Look, they're like crystals. Oh gosh. Look at that. Oh, so pretty. Let me see if I can do a close-up. Look at that. Oh. I've had so many blessings today, I don't know which one is the best. This is definitely up there. The mud, that is ooey squishy gooey. Summit access. Wowzers. The trail goes on that way, but we're not going that way yet. Oh my gosh. I have never seen a view like this in my entire life. Those mountains are so majestic. Oh, look, more crystals. Oh, they're so pretty. Oh. Oh gosh, the beauty of nature. Look at those mountains. Outstanding. Sloth, that is just for you, buddy. You couldn't hike, so I hiked for you. You've seen this before because this is about where you live, but I know you're a little low, but that's okay. Lots of people are thinking about you and wishing you well in your recovery. And Judith, if you don't quit sneaking those 5-pound candy bars, those chocolate bars into my pack, I'm gonna put you in timeout. The very least you could do is put a pack of hot tamales in there for me. You know I'm not crazy about chocolate. I tell you, I'm going to keep an eye on you, girl. Who knows what these little berries are? They're all over the place here at Max Patch. There's a bunch of them. Very interesting. I wonder what those are. If one of you knows, would you please let me know so I can learn? I'd appreciate it. If there was ever a sign that would keep me off of a property, it would say, respect the rattlesnakes and ticks' privacy. You betcha. This is what the mud is like on the trail. All the way up. You sink down about 1.5 inches, 2 inches in this. Okay, so we are coming up to a little fence exchange here. Gotta kind of walk in and walk out. So that was the first one, and there's this little, I guess this is an emergency or a service road, I'm not sure. You cross from over there, over here, there's the blaze on the tree, and then you go through another one. Okay. And the video continues. Look at that. That's beautiful. Those things are bigger than dinner plates. They're huge. This is Roaring Fork Shelter. I believe it will sleep 10. It's very nice shelter. There are bear hangs right here. And I don't know where the water source is. I'm not used to seeing plaques inside of shelters. This is very nice. In honor of Howard McDonald, the outstanding trail builder and trail maintainer, who also designed and led the building of this shelter. That's very cool. Thank you, Mr. McDonald. I really appreciate you joining me today. I hope you've gotten something out of this video, and I hope I explained dropping the rope well. I appreciate you being on this journey with me. So you take good care, and I'll see you in the next video.